This week, Detroit Lions talk, man. David Montgomery, Knuckles of the Sonic and Knuckles running back duo, was traded. He was traded to the Houston Texans, first of all, for a 2026 fourth round pick, a 2027 seventh round pick, plus an interior offensive lineman, Juice Scruggs. Montgomery had, reportedly been unhappy with his role in the offense this past season, seeing a decrease in his carries from the previous two seasons. He also had a 3-year low in both yards and touchdowns with 716 and 8 respectively. So I'm going to ask the people's champ directly, who won the trade between the Texans and the Lions, and what does it mean for the Lions going forward? Do we need to draft a running back?
Yeah, I'm going to have to say, the Texans won because we're not as good of a football team without David Montgomery, period.
I have to agree. In the interim, in the short term,
yeah, exactly.
I concur.
Now, what we do with the the picks that what we got back from the trade, that's yet to remains to be seen. Now, do we draft a running back? I mean, I say yeah, because running backs you can get late in the draft.
I agree.
Yep. I don't think you have to put it, extremely high on the priority list per se, because you can get a quality back late.
Yep. I agree.
But yeah, I love Montgomery for what he did for us, no doubt about it. But to your point, the tea leaves were kind of saying kind of before the offseason that, he wasn't coming back. So
yeah,
if we knew it, I'm pretty sure that the Lions front office knew it. So we can only hope, that they respond in kind.
Yep. Yeah, no, I agree. Although I did like the whole Sonic and Knuckles running back duo. Yeah. David Montgomery is a 29-year-old running back making $5.5 million per year on an escalator. I think he's going to be making over $7 million a year next year. So from a financial standpoint, I understand the move from the Lions with respect to who won the trade. I agree. I said the Texans won it in the short term because a fourth round pick statistically has about a 20% chance of becoming a 4+ year starter.
Okay.
And a seventh round pick has about a 13 to 15% chance of becoming even a roster player. Again, we know all of the exceptions,
right?
But yeah. I'm just talking about statistics,
right? For sure.
So, I do think that we need to draft a late round running back. I put the same thing in my notes, and hope that they become Kyle Monangai, who was the Bears running, backup running back to DeAndre Swift. I'm hoping that we're not clearing out all of this cap space just to get Jahmyr Gibbs a contract extension, which is the Brad Holmes way.
Yeah, that's kind of looking like the forecast.
Right. I believe Gibbs has 2 more years left on his rookie deal. I would like to table that extension for another year, perhaps, and use the resources that we are clearing up for other things, because we have a lot of other needs at this point. I think that Juice Scruggs, by the way, that's a nothing sandwich with no bread, by the way.
Yeah, he's trending the wrong way.
Yeah, according to PFF, his overall grade is a 45 out of 100. His pass blocking grade is a 57.7 out of 100. He ranks 61st out of 81 eligible offensive guards. His run blocking grade is a 40.5 out of 100. He ranks 78th out of 81 eligible offensive guards. He started one of the 17 games for the Texans this past season, so it's safe to say that we still need an offensive guard. So speaking of that.
Yeah, we sounds like we traded for a loiterer.
Yeah, he should be the next roster cut down, if you ask me.
Yeah.
But speaking of roster cut downs, that
lost
brings me
Graham.
to my next point. Yep, Graham Glasgow, after 7 total seasons with the Detroit Lions, he was cut this week. He appeared in 110 games for the Lions, made 103 total starts this past season. He started 14 games for the Lions. Like the rest of the Lions offensive line, offensive lineman, he had his struggles. But with the release of Graham Glasgow, is interior offensive line the number one priority for the Lions?
Without question, if you're talking about paying Jahmyr Gibbs any type of extension, like if you're going to invest in Jahmyr Gibbs in any type of way long term, you better make sure you got some hogs in front of him.
Which is why I said I hope that we table that Jahmyr Gibbs extension for another year, because we have too many other pressing needs at this point. Yes, I agree with you. In my opinion, Brad Holmes has done a poor job addressing 2 positions, and that's interior defensive line and interior offensive line. We have not done a good job. Tate Ratledge was not bad this past year. So the jury is still out on that pick.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not overwhelmed by his play. He is playing next to maybe the best offensive tackle in football.
True.
Bar none. Not best right tackle, best offensive tackle in football in Penei Sewell. So, I'm not going to judge him too harshly or too, I'm gonna wait and see.
Yeah.
I thought he was okay. He showed some signs that he could be a fixture at that right guard spot, but we at a minimum need a guard and probably need a center too. Christian Mahogany was okay. We at minimum need 1 interior offensive lineman. We might need 2, because again, Juice Scruggs is nothing.
And and on the other side of the ball,
we definitely need a defensive tackle, but we gonna get around to that. We gonna get around to that. I definitely want to kick the tires on Tyler Linderbaum, who is going to be the best available interior offensive lineman in free agency. I don't know whether or not he's in our plans from a financial standpoint. Again, it's just very hard to figure out what exactly.
Like, what's the science behind like releasing a Graham Glasgow? And you would think you're doing something like that, you have your secondary and tertiary moves in mind. You
Go
would
ahead,
think.
no.
So right now we're after the David Montgomery trade and the Glasgow cut, we are sitting $6.5 million over the cap. Before June 1st, the only real moves that we can make cut-wise is Taylor Decker. If we was to cut Taylor Decker before June 1st, he would give us $11 million in cap room, but that still wouldn't put us towards the top half of cap space in the league right now. So honestly, we're looking at having to restructure either Jared Goff or St. Brown's contracts to make any real cap space.
Yeah, or both.
Can we just cut Taylor Decker anyway? Because the $11 million is still better than anything he's going to do out there.
Yeah, listen, I'm all for it.
Okay.
I'm okay with that. But again, but then that creates a need at tackle.
He's a need already as
right.
is.
Yes,
he's
I
not
agree.
fulfilling the need now.
Yeah, listen, he's up and down just like the rest of the offensive line.
Mostly down.
Right.
Literally. Like, how many times was they picking Taylor Decker up off the field at the end of play?
And then he's got to be managed, and now we don't have my guy. What's the big guy, man?
Big fella.
Man, I always forget his name, and I love him too, man. It'll come to me in a minute, but he retired too.
Yeah.
So yeah,
God, 6'10" cat.
Yeah.
I know.
I don't know.
You talking about Dan Skipper?
Yeah,
Skipper.
Big Skipper. We don't have Dan Skipper anymore. So we there's need upon need at the offensive line. I was telling nephew, me and nephew were talking in the car. I'm like, this, and I think I said it to you too. This is going to have to be Brad Holmes' best year as an executive.
I agree.
If he's going to fill all the holes that we have, we're starting to really see a lot of needs.
Yeah.
So yeah, quick math. Just taking Taylor Decker into consideration, if we was to cut him pre-June 1st, we was, if not considering any other moves from any other team, we would be 22nd in cap space.
Yeah.
Now, if we wait till after June 1st, we do gain an extra $6 million off of the in cap space.
Yeah, but then who's left?
But yeah, so yeah, that's the conundrum.
Conundrum. Yep, I
that
got you. Yeah, I mean, like, and I don't know, man. Maybe Frank Ragnow is still in play. There's no updates on him. But in the draft, I mean, we need to be looking at defensive tackle as well. We know what we need on the offensive line side of the ball. And of course, that brings me to our next topic.
Before you go, I got a question in the chat.
Go ahead.
Vez in the chat said he was talking to some buddies, and I guess it kind of goes into the cap situation. He was saying, is Dorado going with a cheap B-tier quarterback the best way to build a championship team versus paying a top 10 quarterback like Goff and Allen? And he used Hurts and Darnold being some of the examples.
Yes. I mean, so if you look at, I think over the past 25 years, I don't think that any top 5 paid quarterback has won the Super Bowl, with the exception of maybe Pat Mahomes' last one.
The last one.
Because I think he got his big extension just before that. But yes, that is correct. Most of the quarterbacks that have won have, not been the top 5 paid QB. So yes, there is definitely something to not having that highly paid QB, because it gives you the flexibility to build out the rest of the roster,
right?
Without that albatross, basically of that contract just dragging everything down.
Yeah, but they're spending that money somewhere, and it's typically on an outstanding defense. If
correct,
the quarterback
or the
mid tier,
or like with Chicago, they went out and got 3 offensive linemen.
Yep.
They cleaned up their offensive line problem in one fell swoop in one off season.
Yep, and then even then they invested money on playmakers on defense, because those takeaways.
Yeah, right. Yeah, they led the league in takeaways. Yeah, no. So there is absolutely something to that. So yes, I completely I subscribe to that.
Good call, Des.
Yep. But this is the situation that we find ourselves.
Yeah, man. I'm about to say this ain't good, man. Why'd you bring this up, nigga? It's kind of depressing. Like, I'm sitting up here thinking about it. I'm like, hold on now, like this ain't that good, bro. Like
I mean, listen, I just said this is gonna have to be Brad Holmes is going
thing, and
Brad Holmes again.
You go down that rabbit hole.
Listen, man, there's one person.
But they say the shit rolls downhill, man.
There is one person in this town who said that he would not give Hutch $50 million a year.
Will Sam Laporta be available at the start of the season? Will he be ready at camp? Does anybody know?
Man, I don't know. It's probably too early to.
Like, back injuries always scare me. I don't care what the sport is. They didn't knock Tiger Woods out of golf.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Yeah,
back injuries are scary because there's really not a lot that you can do for a back. The thing that Sam has in his favor, obviously, is that he's really still young. True. He's really young. So,
and we're rooting for him to get back 100%.
And I'm sure he will.
I mean, he's not you just look around, like, we got a lot of injuries in our team.
Right, for sure.
I'm just about to touch on that. Yep. That's why I said this is going to have to be, Brad Holmes is really going to have to show out.
Like I said, this topping's depressing, bro. Yeah. Like, this is, why are you doing this?
No, I mean,
we
probably need, he's going to have to hit on 5 draft picks. Right. And I'm talking about, when I say hit, I'm talking about guys that can make the field and be difference makers.
20, what was that, 23?
Yep. Yeah. So, that's when we got Gibbs, Jack, we got Laporta.
Yeah, and Branch.
Yeah. So it's gonna have to top that.
Yeah.
You're gonna need one more guy that can actually get out there and be a difference maker.
That's the truth, man. All we can do is hope.
Yeah. And we going to need them where we need them. It ain't going to be like you can just get anybody. We going to need them to come in and be difference makers where we need them. But
we're going to probably lose Anzalone.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. I don't know who we can bring back, to be honest.
Yeah, no, I mean, listen.
But that's before, any restructure news comes out,
Yeah,
which it looks like if they're going to want to fill some holes, there's going to have to be some we're going to have to push some of the bill down the line.
Yes, yeah, we're going to have to kick the can down the road.
God, man.
But yeah, so that brings me to our next conversation.
Pull me off the ledge, man.
Oh no, this won't do that. Terrion Arnold, his potential criminal situation.
Our favorite.
Then there's that.
Yeah. So Terrion Arnold is being linked to what is being described as, quote, a vigilante justice, unquote, plot after a $180,000 Airbnb heist. So it's important to note that Terrion Arnold has not been charged with any crime in connection with this incident. However, court records alleged associates of the cornerback kidnapped and pistol whipped 3 men they suspected of stealing cash, jewelry, and other valuables from Arnold's Florida rental. A Florida judge has ordered that 1 man accused of orchestrating this kidnapping and assault remain behind bars with no bond. So I'm going to read the statement from Terrion Arnold's attorney because I want to be fair. He says, I represent Mr. Terrion Arnold in connection with an incident that allegedly occurred on February 4, 2026 in Tampa, Florida, which resulted in the arrest of 5 individuals on serious felony charges. And to be clear, Mr. Arnold had no involvement whatsoever in the activities that led to those arrests. He did not participate in, nor was he present for any conduct related to the alleged offenses. There is no evidence in the police reports, text messages, or witness statements that implicates Mr. Arnold in any way. In fact, after direct communication with the lead prosecutor, it has been confirmed that no charges have been filed against Mr. Arnold in connection with this matter. Recent media coverage has referenced an order issued by Circuit Court Judge L. Logan Murphy, which improperly suggests Mr. Arnold's involvement in the incident. That same order also incorrectly identifies Ms. Duvall as Mr. Arnold's girlfriend. Both assertions are false, misleading, and entirely unsupported by the record. Mr. Arnold categorically denies these unfounded claims and maintains his complete innocence. He was not involved in crimes allegedly committed on February 4, 2026 in Tampa, Florida. We strongly urge members of the media to refrain from perpetuating inaccurate or speculative narratives. The facts are clear, and they do not support any claim of wrongdoing by Mr. Arnold. So, not to sound flippant about criminal activity,
right,
and the seriousness of this matter, but what do you think this means for Terrion Arnold's future as a Lion?
Good luck.
Yeah.
Where they at? What Florida?
Florida, Tampa. Yeah.
That's in Tampa.
Oh, yeah, good luck, bro. Good luck, dog. Because, I mean, all they got he don't have charges now, but okay, all the prosecutors got to decide is we want Terrion, and they start squeezing them fine, and they got in custody. And then it's over.
Or they start talking.
That's what I'm saying. All the prosecutors going to do is start squeezing those guys, and if they start squeezing them enough, and, it'll all start falling down.
The last time a Lions DB got into some stuff
in
Florida, it didn't go so well.
Listen, I don't even have an opinion on the criminal matter other than if crimes were committed, people should be punished. And if you steal valuable things, bad stuff might happen to you.
Right.
That's not an accusation because I don't know who did what to who.
Right.
It's simply a word of caution.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's just typically how these things play out. It just seems to have all of the ingredients of a Celebrity First 48 two-parter.
But with respect to Terrion Arnold, he wasn't playing well in the first place. And now he's creating a distraction by being mixed up in some nonsense. And frankly, he's not good enough to be anything other than a model citizen.
Man, you can't deny that, man. It's retaliation, revenge, and get back.
I can't. But if you're wondering if I'm saying that good players can get away with more, yeah, let me not be ambiguous. I am. If this was Patrick Surtain Jr., the only thing I'd be saying is that he's not being charged and we'd be moving on.
Yeah, because the homies would have got the bag and would have been willing to sit down and it all
Next
worked out.
topic. But the reason this matters is because Terrion Arnold at one time last season had given up the most yards in coverage of any cornerback in football, according to Next Gen Stats.
That's without penalties?
Yeah.
Oh, Lord.
The guy was a botched facelift in coverage. If Kirby Joseph,
not a Christy Nolan.
Yeah, if Kirby Joseph wasn't facing a possible career-ending injury, and if Branch didn't have a ruptured Achilles, I'm not sure that they wouldn't be cutting Terrion Arnold right now.
That's facts.
And if having him and DJ Reed as our 2 starting corners next season doesn't horrify you, then I'll assume you spent this last season in a coma. So
certainly wouldn't watch that defense.
Yeah, I mean, particularly again when you got 2 question marks at the safety spot. I know I just said that defensive tackle was probably our most pressing need, followed by interior offensive linemen. But with this nonsense, defensive backfield is not too far behind.
Yeah.
So again, we gonna need 8 contributors. We probably gonna need 8 new contributors.
Well,
to join our football team in this offseason. And
that's not being modest, man.
That's an insurmountable task. I mean, I don't know that that's possible.
It ain't.
And that might be just be as good as we were the season before last.
Yeah.
You know, where the defense struggles. So, man, I don't even.
Because to your point, I mean, Branch was an all-pro.
That's what I'm saying. He was a pro bowler. Kirby was an all-pro.
Correct.
Kirby was
Kirby
first
Joseph
team
was an all-pro. Yeah. Branch was a pro bowler.
Yep.
Younger, trending.
That's what I'm saying.
Trending towards all-pro status. Laporta, I believe he was a pro bowler.
Yep. Yes.
I mean,
yeah, right. And you talking about you talking about both of the safeties potentially being not there.
Right.
If Kirby is there, who knows if he's going to be himself, even if he can get on the field.
I don't even want to revisit what.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But he's facing a potential career-ending injury.
They're talking whenever they're using miracle.
Yeah, we don't have a starting safety.
Yeah,
we don't have one. Yeah. And our 2 starting corners, even when 100% healthy, they struggled last season.
All right.
This is no bueno.
Yeah.
And the offensive line is in shambles. And Juice Scruggs doesn't help.
Hey, man. I can't believe you did this to me today in March.
I mean, we got to talk. We got to talk about the Lions, man.
And that's not accounting for Mink being a free agent as well.
Yeah.
But this is what I'm saying.
He didn't pretty much conceded that he wasn't coming back at the end of the season, immediately. So I don't know.
Yeah,
do they revisit him now?
I mean, we in rough territory, man.
But do you expose him now if you throw him out there as a 1 because through attrition?
Well, that's what I'm saying. This is all bad. Yeah, it's all bad. We gonna need 8 contributors in this offseason.
Yeah.
Like Nephew said, we have no cap room right now.
Yeah.
Even if we cut Taylor Decker and get the $11.5 million in cap space, do some restructuring, do all of the things that we need to do, then you're gonna have to go out and find the players.
Right.
Though.
Yeah, you can, even if you get lucky and free up the money.
Yeah. Then you gotta go get the players.
And
and hit. And then even if you do that, you still gonna need 5 contributors in the draft. I feel like he's gonna have to have his best draft as the Lions GM.
With again, new coordinators.
Yeah, right. I haven't even gotten to the staff and personnel. That's all gonna have to work
right now.
That's all gonna have
layered.
To work. Yes, this is layered. So yeah, man, I just don't know, man. I just don't know.